The Geleth Baths are one of the most famous attractions in Budapest, and right now they're closed. They won't reopen until 2028 at the earliest. And that's just the start, because if your Budapest research is more than 1 year old, a lot of it is already wrong. Prices have exploded, the rules at the thermal baths have changed, and there's now an entire district where private holiday apartments are banned completely. I'll show you exactly which one before you book anything. I've been coming to this city for almost 15 years and I've just come back from yet another trip. But let me get you up to speed. And stick around, because near the end I'll tell you why I think the most famous bath still standing isn't worth your money. Budapest is no longer dirt cheap. The airport bus used to cost 900 forints, now it's 2,500. On this trip I paid 4,290 forints for a basic quesadilla, and it was one of the worst things I've eaten in years. Budapest is still very reasonable compared to Copenhagen, Paris or London. Just don't build your budget from a guide written in 2019. If you're flying in from Northern Europe, choose a window on the right side of the plane. It isn't guaranteed because the runway can change, but on a lot of my approaches, that's where the city appeared. The Danube Islands, Parliament, and even Fisherman's Bastion if you're quick. The taxi situation in Budapest is dramatically better than when I first came in 2013. Licensed taxis are yellow and all use the same regulated tariff structure. Bolt, Uber and Third Taxi are official operators here. But don't relax completely, because a licensed driver once warned me about scam taxis for the entire journey and then claimed his card machine was broken when we got to the hotel. So I still book and pay through an app every time. I use Bolt, it just works. You'll see bright blue Euronet ATMs everywhere tourists go. Walk past them. Their withdrawal fees and exchange rates can be brutal, especially if you accept everything the screen suggests. Find an ATM attached to an actual Hungarian bank instead. And you probably won't need much cash here, but when you do, don't get it from the most convenient blue machine on the busiest tourist street right outside the most famous ruined pub in town. When a cash machine or card terminal asks whether you'd like to pay in euros instead of forints, always choose forints. The euro option uses something called dynamic conversion, and it's terrible for you. Let your own bank handle the conversion. The New York cafe is spectacular, but people queue outside for an hour to get in. I stayed in the hotel next to it, the Anantara New York Palace, and guests can have breakfast inside in this little enclosed space that isn't even open to the public. So if the cafe is high on your list, sleeping upstairs is the best queue hack I know. Quick pause before my next tip, because this one actually made my trip noticeably cheaper. When I was in Budapest, I stayed at the Anantara New York Palace and I booked it through Founders Card, today's sponsor. Despite the name, there's no credit card involved. Founders Card is a membership that gives you an all-access pass to VIP treatment and insider pricing, with deals often better than what credit card programs or third-party sites can offer. So you get rates as high as 70% off at luxury hotel brands, discounts with 18 top airlines, and automatic loyalty status at top travel brands with no spend requirements. Plus you get perks on business, tools and wellness brands, and you still earn points on your own credit card. You can preview it for free with my link founderscard.com/VIP destination or the code VIP destination, both are in the description. That unlocks over 200 of their perks free, and if you love it, you can upgrade to Elite for 70% off in your first week. Right, back to Budapest. Many restaurants add a service charge to the bill automatically, often around 12 to 15%, and then the card machine smiles at you and asks whether you'd like to leave a tip on top of that. And plenty of visitors end up tipping twice without noticing, so check the actual bill before touching the tablet. If a service charge is already included, you're done. Budapest has some of the best public transport I use anywhere in Europe. The metro, trams and buses, they run constantly, and the Budapest Go app makes planning everything very easy. For most trips, you don't really need to think about taxis. And by the way, if you're over 65, public transport is free, even if you don't live in Hungary. Just carry your passport or another official photo ID. A paper single ticket must be validated before entering the metro or when you board a bus or tram. Mobile single tickets normally require you to scan the QR code as well. In other words, you must validate your tickets before getting on board public transport. The fine is 12,000 forints if you pay immediately and 25,000 if you don't. So don't assume just buying a ticket finishes the job. You need to validate it. I need help from the Hungarians in the comments, because on 3 different trips I've deliberately tried nice looking cakes in Budapest and they've nearly all been super dry. Now, I'm from Copenhagen, so my pastry standards may be quite unfair, but please tell me where the good cakes are hiding, because I refuse to believe a city this good at food has collectively decided that cake shouldn't be delicious. Help me out in the comments, please. This is where old guides can probably ruin your plans. The Gellert thermal baths closed in October 2025 for a massive renovation, and the official reopening is planned for 2028. So if a video still tells you to spend your morning underneath those beautiful Art Nouveau ceilings, stop trusting that guide immediately. Since August 2025, children under 14 haven't been allowed into Széchenyi and other popular thermal baths. That does not mean every bath in Budapest is closed to children, but it does mean families can't simply book the famous ones and turn up. Check the rules for the exact bath before making it the centerpiece of your trip. Palatinus seems to be the go-to thermal bath if you're in Budapest with kids, by the way. Széchenyi is the enormous yellow bath from more or less every Budapest Instagram post. And the building is undeniably beautiful, but on busy days, those pools are absolutely packed and the atmosphere can feel more like a party venue than a relaxing thermal bath. So if you want the famous photograph, go early. And if you actually want peace in the water, I'd choose somewhere else. One reason I keep returning to Budapest is that Budapest still doesn't feel as swallowed by tourism as Prague, for example. Fisherman's Bastion and the castle get busy, of course, but walk 2 or 3 streets away and you're back in a normal city with actual local life. That's become surprisingly rare in Europe, and it's one of my favorite things about Budapest. Simpla is the world's most famous ruin bar, and the building itself absolutely deserves a visit. But late at night it becomes a packed stag party zoo. So go in the late afternoon or early evening instead. You'll see the same mad rooms, but you might actually find a seat. For most first-time visitors, I'd stay in Pest and cross the river to explore Buda. Buda has the castle, the bastion and the views. Pest has most of the restaurants, transport links and, evening life. Buda can be lovely if you want peace and quiet, but I'll base myself in Pest. I've also linked some of my favorite Budapest hotels in the description below. And here's the apartment ban I promised you at the start. Since January 2026, private short-term rentals have effectively been banned in District 6, the area around Andrassy Avenue and the Opera. So if you're booking what looks like a normal apartment or an Airbnb there, check its registration before paying, because a live listing is not automatically proof that the stay is actually legal. Alright, if you're planning a trip, I've just published my full Budapest guide with the best areas, the major sites, realistic prices and everything you need to build your itinerary around. It's on the screen now. And if you've been, share your own thoughts on Budapest and some of the things that surprised you before visiting the first time. Ciao!